Right, greetings everybody. Look, I noticed the horizon line above me is a little off, so that means we're not completely even, but I think we're good because the paintings look kind of even from what I see. So what I want to talk about today is I have a lot of clients that ask me, what do you mean about entering relationship and creating dialogue with the paintings that you make? Listening to what it needs and wants and not having our will just put everything onto wrestling it and making it what we want. The relationship with the painting is actually sitting with it, asking, okay, I know you, I want you to go in this direction. Is there anything that is changing within this painting that might ask for something different? And this brings me to synchronicity. Synchronicity actually was a term that was coined by psychologist Carl Jung, being able to recognize the signs that are all around us, being able to not so much be in our head, but to drop down into our heart and get into our feeling center. That doesn't mean our emotions run amok, but just our feelings. You know, there are signs everywhere if we start looking for the magic and the clues of everyday surroundings. So in a sense, form of giving, let's say we have this power struggle going on with the painting. What we think the painting should be, it's sort of like life. What we think life should be, or what our paintings should be, what they're doing, as opposed to operating not so much in a linear perspective, but trusting rather than understanding as we feel our way in. So, form of giving power over to what we think life or our art or painting should be, or what they should be doing, but letting life in synchronicity operate beyond linear approach. It's trusted rather than understood. So I'm going to give you an example today of how I've been feeling my way into the painting. In the notes, I have an image of a painting that I've been living with that's been called Beauty's Strength. And what it is, it's these 4 panels that are behind me. And for the last 8 months, I think there's a beauty in it. There's something that is working, but there was more of this painting that wasn't working. And it was literally the way that within 4 panels that are hung together, it was creating, and I couldn't get over it, a cross. The way this separated. So right now they're diptychs and there is a separating line, but it just, I would sit with it and I'd be like, it's fine. And the painting's like, no, this isn't what I want to be. No, it's fine. And then I would kind of move it so it'd have like an inch in between. No. So after about 8 months, after it being on my website, after it not, these are all sort of clues. One of my galleries comes, no, not that one. Another clue, I'd sit with it and I'd be like, you're done, I'm putting you away. And then I'd pull it out again. And it would just kind of gnaw at me, like almost like a whisper, something more. Okay, something more. So I pulled it apart. I had it in a long line. I'm like, okay, you'll be 4 panels. And right now I'm playing with diptych. And let me show you something I do. Some of you might have panels that have a lip and you can move your panel around and hang it. Because this is a hollow door panel, what I've done, I haven't done it sideways, but I could, is I have wire so I can turn it upside down. So right now, the trick in art of decades of hanging work. I'm gonna leave it like this. And another thing that's been going on is a border. I'm gonna take my tape. And granted, you gotta remember, I haven't really worked on this for about 8 months. So this morning I sat with it, I was drinking coffee. I put wire on different angles. Just to get myself in there, I do believe I wrote this morning, what do you want? What do you want, painting? I want to be lighter. I don't want to be this whole large painting. Okay, what do you mean by lighter? Just lighter. Okay, so now discernment comes in. I can start with lighter. I can take a risk and put some white oil paint in here and a little bit of Galkid. It's pretty thick. So I'm going to thin it out. Galkid light helps paintings dry quicker. This is a little bit of Gamsol, mineral spirits, and a little bit of linseed oil. Let's see if I can find the Gamsol for you. I mean, the Galkid light. So you can see what it looks like. Galkid light. And I feel my way in. I'm like, okay, this might want to rise up. Painting says it wants to be lighter. Well, let's just take a risk. Feel my way into it, not thinking, feeling. Woo. Now you've seen me when I go ahead and I get paint on, let's say, this is oil paint, which I think you probably discern. I'm just starting in the left-hand corner. You know, when I'm working with oil paint, I can get a lot of paint on one area and then pull it off and move it, pull it off and move it. Candles are making noise when you lean up against them. By carelessness. I like this edge. And keep it. And as I'm working and I feel my way in, I might stop, but a part of me, this is the trick. People are like, okay, I see an area I really like, and I've put white down. They keep going. They just keep on going, and they've overdone it. I suggest you stand back often, and one trick is to do it before you want to. So if you're in the detail and you're doing all these circles, and you're really loving how it feels, and you keep on going and you keep on going, you're following that thread. Structure and release. You put down a little structure, you release, you're going, but you got to come back in. I'm going to say structure, but it's really discernment. Let me stand back. You've all seen me do this. It's not so wet. You know, that might be something, that might be all I do in one painting in an afternoon. So I can come back and just sort of, here's what I am going to do. I'm going to just do this edge. So when I do pull it, you know, I can put that tape back, but you know, that's a really hard edge. Do I want it framed? Well, I don't know. The painter might not want to be framed, but I can decide that later. So a little bit of review. Using this linear world, and I've said this to you all before, we think there's that mountain to climb, We've got all these paintings we want to make. We have a theme, but within the theme, we set ourselves with these parameters. I just want you to check yourself. I want you to begin to, I talk about a golden thread, to find the thread of where is this leading me? And within that, it's the intuition. Intuition and feeling can be practiced just by walking out your door and looking for the signs. I can remember I was making a major decision to buy this piece of property or not buy this piece of property, to buy this piece of property or not buy this piece of property. Oh, the terrible choices I have to make. And I said, oh, I'm gonna look for a sign. And I turned the radio on, and I think the first words were, this is not for you. Now I can say in my rational mind, oh no, that wasn't it. I need another sign. Or I can just breathe into it, sleep on it, walk out and see the trees, which way is the wind blowing. It's sort of in the sense of if we took our finger and kind of had this imaginary circumference, and whatever decision we have, even with the painting, if we slow down, we say white or blue. Imagine the left is like a no and the right is a yes. There was a meditation workshop I did where we practiced intuition, and one of the practices was to close our eyes and to imagine a scale, like from 1 to 10. And when you have a yes or no question, to see, in this particular practice, it was to see a rose. And without thinking too hard, did it go to the left or did it go to the right? The left was like a no, like, should I say it's number 3 on the scale? Or should I not? To the left, to the right, yes, no. These are all little things you could just play with, like searching out where our own sonar, our own feelings, dolphins and whales are said to store information in rocks or communicate through different wavelengths than we have. But I strongly believe we can flex our muscle, we can flex that right side and listen to what the paintings want. Okay, that's it for now. Okay. I'm just not going without the frame. I can always bring one back, maybe. For right now, I'm gonna play with this painting and see where it goes. I also feel when you're working, just jot down notes. When you stand back earlier than you want to, just jot down what's going on. And what I meant by those circles is, what if I just kept, then you do the whole thing when maybe just a few of them work. Reductive is just important as additive. Okay, it's spring. Happy spring to everybody. And we'll see you soon.